My name is Pearl Manis, and I grew up on the south side of Chicago in a non-Christian home. I have three sisters and a brother, and although our parents never took us to church, um, we did have the opportunity to go to church on the big yellow bus every Sunday. The brothers and sisters from First Baptist Church in Hammond, Indiana, came to visit us every Saturday and picked us up for church on Sunday. I always had fun when I went because they always had something fun planned. To entertain a busload of kids for a long bus ride, picking everyone up and driving into Indiana, we sang songs, listened to preaching, and even had one-on-one time with bus workers. The brothers and sisters from this church filled me with a lot of love and told me many parables that helped me to understand about God. There's still several of them I carry with me today. My favorite one is the one that they told me about, that we all have two big dogs inside of us, a white one and a black one, signifying God and Satan. They told me that these dogs fight every day to the death. And they told me that the one that was going to win was the one that I fed the most. As I entered my teenage years, I started to skip church and pretty much had my own agenda. I knew about God, but I wasn't serving Him, nor was I seeking Him in my life. The song in my heart wasn't one that I learned on the bus. It was more like, I'm going to party like it's 1999. I started getting involved with drugs and all the wrong people. It was a downward spiral and going really fast. As I entered my young adult life, things got even worse. I found myself a single parent with two kids and working in a bar. I would attend church when I hit a low point in my life, and then as soon as things got a little better, I'd stop and go back to my own agenda again. This happened for years and years. I had endless plans and schemes and hopes for pulling myself out of the rut I was in. I think my plans and schemes involved everyone but God. And just when I thought I was doing okay, I would hit a new time all low. I remember thinking, it can't get any worse, but I was so wrong. I felt as though someone had pushed the fast forward button on my life, only to realize I was still rerunning episodes. And although I had married the man of my dreams, there was still something big missing. I hated my job. My relationship with my children wasn't very good. My daughter and I were not even on speaking terms. Inside, I was miserable. In fact, my marriage was the only thing I was happy about in my life. Knowing what I knew about God, I started praying, but I was so full of shame that I was embarrassed to pray. I was afraid He was going to think that this was just another get me out of this pit prayer. But I prayed anyway, and I waved the white flag, and I told God that I surrendered. I told Him that I was so tired of doing it my way, because my way wasn't working. I told Him I wanted to try the plan that He had for me, and I repented, and I truly surrendered. I started visiting churches in the neighborhood and just knew that this one was the one. The first time I came here, Pastor Dave did his preaching on a bicycle. He demonstrated, he did. He did it on a bicycle, and he demonstrated that if he stopped pedaling, he would fall off the bike. His message was to stay persistent in prayer so that we wouldn't fall off of our walk with God. And it was so clear that that was my problem. I wouldn't stay persistent in prayer. I still feel shame when I pray, but it makes me pray harder. And I still have my hand in the world, but finger by finger, God is taking those things away and replacing it with what's pleasing to Him. I work from home with my husband, and I have a better relationship with my kids. I continue to feed the white dog in me with classes like Alpha, women's group on Tuesday evening, Beth Moore studies, serving God through feeding the homeless, or simply just volunteering to be an usher. I will never forget, I was in Sunday school class called Eights Here, and I forget what question I asked, but I remember asking a question, how am I supposed to know if blah, blah, blah was wrong? And Diane Paisley said something to me so nonchalantly with her bubbly self. She said, "Oh, just listen to your heart." And I just thank you, Diane, so much for that, because you're right. As I see God and I feed the dog properly, God speaks to my heart. And yes, sometimes I get overwhelmed because I'm trying to do too much, but God's helping me to know my limits. And yes, I still feel shame, but wow, how the menu for the dogs has changed. I asked today to be baptized, to publicly announce my desire to live for God. I have a new song in my heart, and it's I have decided to follow Jesus. Thank you.